Hi my friends, it's Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a card using this stamp set from Not2Shabby called Moo-tiful Buddies. It's a very cute illustrated stamp set and I was anxious to use it today for my design team project. And I'm going to be using one of the cow images, and later on we're going to create a background using one of the sentiments in this set. First up, I'm going to just take the cow image that I wanted to use and ink it up onto a piece of white cardstock. I'm just using some Copic friendly black ink here. Just going to stamp that onto my panel, and then we'll go ahead and start with our Copic coloring. So since this is the first time that I am using this stamp, I am going to stamp it down twice because I want to make sure I get a really good impression. Obviously, that's what the great thing about the MISTI is for. If you've never seen one before, if you're new to card making, a MISTI tool is really a great tool to have in your craft room. So I'm going to move that aside, and then I'm going to start off with my coloring for my image here. And I'm going to have all of the colors that I will be using listed below on the screen here, so you'll know which colors I'm using for reference. So for my cow today, I wanted to do something a little bit different than just a black and white cow. I actually wanted to do a brown cow, just for something different. Normally, whenever I see spots, I figure to do a black and white cow. But today I decided to go ahead and use some brown tones. So I started out with the E34, 37, and 39. And I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here with the coloring. I didn't have it pre-planned or anything, and more times than not, that's usually how I do my coloring. I know that some people, some of my crafty friends, they kind of reference their colors either by just something that they've seen, like on a picture or even pattern paper, and sometimes I do that just to get some inspiration going, but more times than not, I just kind of look at the image and go off my color chart and see where I want to go with my coloring that day. So I am going on, and I've created some shadows onto the little spots there. Then I'm going to move on to the rest of the body, and I'm kind of creating, of course, some of the lines in this image. It's really a moot point to do any different shading because the area is so small. So I just kind of do a one color, or of that particular shade that I'm using. And then I'm going to move on to the actual body here. I am going to create some shadows with this color here. I believe this is the E37. And then I'm going to move into the lightest shade for the body, which is going to be the E21. And I wanted it to have enough contrast between all of the darker spots on his body, and then obviously the body itself. So that's why I chose to do E21 for this. And it's really simple just to get those colors moving and blended. And this actually turned out pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with it. As y'all know, in some of the more recent videos that I have posted when it comes to coloring, I have mentioned several times that I am wanting to improve onto my coloring, and I still plan to do that. Just got to find the time, obviously, to work that into my life, I guess. But so I loved all of the feedback that I recently received in, like I said, one of the recent videos that I did for Copic coloring. And I appreciate all the ones that left feedback as far as the Copic coloring classes that are online. And some of you said that you have taken the classes. Some of you want to also. Some of you have obviously are like me and plan on doing it, just haven't done it yet. So I really do appreciate all of the mixture of the feedback that I received from that video. It really does help. And also interact with you guys and to know where you are at with your crafting and what your goals are. I love interacting with you guys so much because it just seems like y'all are so supportive and nice, and I really do appreciate that. I want to obviously keep my channel as positive as I possibly can. Excuse me. And so I appreciate every comment that I receive, whether it be for a giveaway or just obviously the tutorial. I love hearing from you guys. So anytime that you feel free to want to leave a comment, please do. Because like I said, I love to hear from you guys. Hopefully one of these days, my channel will get big enough to where I can have the community tab. I really want that community tab so badly, but for some reason or not, some channels, even some channels that I have seen on YouTube that I follow, have about as much or not, not too far ahead of me, and they have a community tab. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, the community tab really allows you to not necessarily just post a video. It just literally leaves a message and it goes into your subscription feed, and you can see where your who you're subscribed to will leave a message or a comment about a video or do a poll or whatever. I really do think it's a great idea for the YouTube community to really interact with their subscribers. So I'm hoping one day real soon, not too in the distant future, that I will be able to obtain that community tab. So anyway, I'm going to continue on to finish up coloring my little cow here, just adding a little bit of blue to the eyes. I've added some pink obviously to the nose and to the heart. You see the little heart on the body there, and I will accentuate that here in just a second. But I went ahead and die cut my image off camera with a tag die, and just to give it a little bit of something with a good shape to it, I didn't want to fussy cut this out. If you guys know me and have been watching my videos for a little bit now, you know that I'm not really the best at fussy cutting, nor do I really like it. If I have to, I have to, but I try to get around it as much as I possibly can. So this is the way that I got around this for this card, and it turned out, I think, just fine. So I going to ahead and adding some details as far as adding some grass with my Copic markers. And then I'm also going to add some blue sky to the background. So I just went ahead and just decided to take one of my Copic markers. I actually grabbed the wrong blue, so I have to grab the right color. But I'm just simply, since I've got that stitch line all the way around this little tag here that I've die cut this with, it makes it super simple to go ahead and already have a line or a barrier to know where I should stop with my sky, because I want to keep that past the little scallop edge. I want to keep that white, so that automatically creates a little bit of a border, if you will, for my scene that I've got going. So I'm just simply going around and taking my B00 Copic marker, and I'm carefully going around the image as best as I can to add all around the perimeter some of this blue to create my sky. And this, like I said, this was super simple to do, and it's, a really quick way, so you won't have to mask off your image. It's just a really quick way to add, your sky or a background to your image without you having to mask it off. Or obviously this is easy because it's just the one image. So if you had multiple images, depending upon obviously what it looked like, you could do this with multiple images too. But for this, it was just obviously the one image, so it really didn't take no time at all to do this. And I have done something like this in the past with other images, and I really did love how it turned out. So that's why I kind of already had this way about how I was wanting to create my sky and finish off my scene. I kind of had this little technique in mind. So, and it kind of shows you how easy it is to create. So I'm going ahead and finishing up my Copic coloring. I've added just a little bit of a darker border there with the darker B01. And now I'm going to move that to the side, and I'm going to create a background using the Hey There sentiment from a stamp set. I cut down a piece of craft cardstock and created an A2 top fold, A2 size card. Now we're going to take this Hey There sentiment, and I've got some walnut ink from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to create my own background with this sentiment. And I thought it would be fun to do this on the diagonal. Now, I am clearly doing this just by eye. I've done this several times to where I feel comfortable, where I don't feel like I have to measure it out or do any guidelines or anything like that. But the key with doing things like this is that you want to offset them, like you're laying bricks, if you will. You don't want them to be one on top of each other. You want them to be offset, and because that will make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye, and it will make a lot more sense in your design. So if you try to do this with one of your sentiments, that's why I kind of started right in the middle of the cardstock, or as close to the middle, because that gives you a starting point for doing a background like this. So I went ahead and finished up stamping down my background. Then I'm going to move on to stamping out my sentiment for my tag. And I'm going to be using the Thank You Very Mooch sentiment, which I think is super cute. And I'm going to stamp this down twice because this is the first time, again, that I'm using this stamp. And I want to make sure I'm getting a good, deep, crisp impression. So you can see how that turned out. I think it's really, really adorable. This stamp set, it's really, really adorable. And also remember that if you want to, you can go over to the Not2Shabby shop and you can save 10% off of your order if you decide to go ahead and get this stamp set or any other goodies over at Not2Shabby. I will have the link listed below in the description bar area. But you can save 10% by using the code KW10. And I will also have that linked below just in case you need that for reference. But that is so cool that you are able to save a little bit of money over at her shop each and every time that you want to go over there. So I'm going to finish up my card by popping this little tag up onto the background that I created. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of shimmer to the little heart image onto the cow. And that will complete today's card. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope I gave you some good tips and tricks as far as Copic coloring and using them for backgrounds and creating scenes. Thank you all so much for watching my channel. I really do appreciate it. Y'all are the best subscribers out there, and I will catch you all in the next video. See you then. Bye-bye.